Right. Hello, everybody. And I was going to say good afternoon because it could be good night. It could be good morning for you. It's Adonica Albert from You Do You Unfiltered with Jessica. Hi, Jessica. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Okay, it's Friday the 13th. There's where our energy's coming from. Like everybody,
Everything
go ahead.
everything has led up to this for us, I think. The way that we've met and our appointments and everything.
Oh, or the wish wa it's the funniest one. I'm like, okay, I'll sit. And then I totally looked at it today. I'm like, okay, wait, am I meeting Jessica? Why isn't there no Zoom meeting for that? Oh shit. Just like, what's going on? But it isn't even a full moon. But I know the superstition of Friday the 13th because I do have a brother named Jason. So every
Mm.
time it pops up, my little brother sends my middle brother, it's AKA Jason Day, and he, of course, the mask and all that. And it just happened, popped up on Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, somebody remembered. Because seriously, it's chaos. It's not, it's a fun energy, I find. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun. And then you popped up early, and I'm like, oh my God, is it 2 o'clock? What about what's going on? And I totally forgot. God, I said that to you. What a great way to start this podcast. I love it.
Of
Love
course. Of
it.
course.
Well, happy Friday 13th, everybody. And I'm here with Jessica. Now, Jessica just reminded me she has no idea what she wrote, but I am so happy she did because I just looked at it. Like I say, if you want to be on this podcast, I don't read your story until the day of 5 minutes, even early, of what it is. And the first thing I saw is paper clips. It's like, excuse me, what? Okay. So we're going to get into her story, and then we're going to get into her. Well, her story might just wrap around to what she does. So let's do it that way. So, in a big, here it is. I dislike, not hate, dislike colored paper clips. Come on. I love them. We used to make necklaces out of them.
It's the little coating on the edge, and it's only the large ones. I don't mind the little
Oh,
ones, but the
okay. So the big ass
large,
ones, the big ones.
well, like the middle size, that hold the bigger papers, but
Okay.
it's the little casing gets all weird on them. I like the silver ones.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm weird.
Oh, I know. Well, I think the casing around them comes off eventually. So you then have all little droppings of colors everywhere, like almost like a glitter thing.
It,
Right?
it's a weird preference,
It
but
totally is.
the reason, do you want me to go into it or do we want to read
Yes,
what
I
I said?
want to
Okay.
know why you don't like colored paper clips. I feel that
I
there's
don't,
a little bit of a bias here, so let's go.
I don't even know why I don't love them, but I noticed that for the longest time, I pull the colored paper clips out and I set them next to my computer and I have all my pretty silver paper clips in their little jar.
Yeah.
And I end up using the colored paper clips because they're right there next to my computer. And so one day I was like, I'm manifesting all these colored paper clips into my life. I'm giving them to my coworkers, trying to get rid of them, and then they're coming back to me, and I'm like, oh, I got to get rid of these paper clips. And finally, one day I realized it's because I'm putting my focus on these paper clips that they keep coming back around. And so I took them and I put them in my drawer and I started giving out silver paper clips, and the silver paper clips started coming back. The reason that I shared this story with you, though, that I was inspired to do it, was because I was thinking about manifesting
Right.
and how we manifest things in our life. And so
Yeah.
I'm a coach and I talk to people all day long about what they want to create. What are
Mhm.
you trying to build? What do you want in your life?
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us to focus on those colored paper clips. I think it's just a really simple, clear way of describing what we focus on, we create more of.
Right. Right.
So,
Absolutely. Because not only is there orange paper clips, but there's also black and pink
mhm,
and white. And I'm in my head, I'm visualizing your desk right now. Absolutely. Before you had this distinction between silver and color. Because in my brain, I would put my color paper clips on my non-dominant side and my
okay.
silver on my dominant side to grab whatever you dominate, right? And those little color paper clips will just sit in the bowl because all the silver ones are gone. And they'd be jealous.
Mhm,
It's okay.
mhm.
That's yeah, it's kind of it's crazy. See, it's kind of fun that you say that because I love color. I love the change of seasons. I love color. I love wear pinks. I wear oranges. I love color. And you always get that person that just manifests one color, black, white, whatever that color is, and you're like is that is like is that a like Do you have anything else?
Well, and it's a bizarre preference. I think it's mostly because I had a nice full box of silver paper clips at one point. And so I decided that only the silver paper clips should go in that jar. And then the colored ones would get mixed in. And it's like, oh, that doesn't go there. It needs to go somewhere else.
It's like a rainbow. If you had a rainbow of colors and then there's a black strip. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Hey, little black strip, you don't belong there. Bye-bye.
But I love this description because I have people come in all the time and they're like, I want to lose weight. I'm overweight. I can't
Yeah.
stand it. I can't fit in my
Yeah.
pants. We're focusing on all the things that are
Yeah.
going wrong. My stomach's not feeling right. I'm not doing well. I want to get rid of that. And when you're moving away from something that you don't love,
Yeah.
you're still focused on it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and so I think of my job in this world and my position in this world as turning the focus to the thing that you're trying to create, whatever that is.
Right.
If you want more colored paper clips, if you want
Mhm.
whatever. But
Mhm.
what do you truly want to create? And then how do you swing around and look at it, focus on it, and move towards it? Because if you're focused on it at the beginning of the day, you set up
Sure.
your day and you say, I'm going to create this.
Yeah.
This is what my life is going to
Yeah.
be. Then you see that your
Right.
reticular activation system picks up all of these things that you're seeing that you're creating
Right.
versus if you are thinking about all the things that could go wrong, you start
Yeah.
seeing all the things that are going wrong. And it's like,
Well,
oh, everything's terrible. It's horrible. Oh my gosh. Right?
well, it's just like what we talked about earlier. It's like, well, we could either sit there and watch it or we can just laugh at it. Depends
Mm-hmm.
how your perception is. Okay, well, let's backtrack because we've arranged your story, but I didn't give you an intro. So can I give you an
Okay.
intro now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, we didn't even do an intro. We just jumped. All I saw was paper clips. So I had to jump in. So let
Okay.
me do a little introduction about you. So Jessica's passionate about helping confident, driven women who are on the brink of burnout, which happens all the time. Even if they don't have jobs, they burn out as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Over here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Absolutely. Because she used to be a highly stressed woman. Wanna expand on that a bit?
Oh, there are days when I still experience stress,
Yeah. Don't we
um,
all though?
but some of it I learned was from my story.
Yeah. The
And
paper clips.
yeah, it's the paper clips or it's the I have to work hard. I have
Right.
to, this is going to be a hard day. And you're going into the day with this expectation that it's going to be hard before
Okay.
you've even tried.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the shift for me that was so powerful, I still do a lot of things. I work
Yeah.
3 jobs. I have kids. I'm very busy. That's probably never going to
Oh,
stop.
we know.
But the difference is that now I go into my day and it's like, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to work with ease.
Yeah.
And I just do because
Yeah.
I'm going to get done as much as I get done. I'm going to trust that I can do it. I'm going to
Yeah.
let go of some of that worry about if I do it right or perfect
Right.
or
Yeah.
all of these things. And that shift for me was life changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you say here, letting go of stress and control and moving into joy was so much easier than you could have ever imagined.
It
Right?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh yeah, that's bullshit, Jess.
Hmm.
And then you said you would love to be free. You said you would love to free other women from this weight. Now we're talking about not just body weight. We're talking all the weight that we carry, emotional, mental, and everything. Because I think pretty much everything plays within our minds that contributes to what we show outside. Because as being a personal trainer, if you can't change the mindset
Yeah.
up here and get rid of that crap that you've always told in your head, that story, oh, I'm never going to be 110 pounds. Like be realistic. It's always going to play that way, but that's where you come in and you help people shift that mindset.
Well, and speaking of, body, I work in a functional medicine clinic and we work with a lot of gut health and hormone health issues. I work with a doctor who's amazing and gives all of these tools for people to
Yeah,
use, and then I get to help implement for these people. But what I started learning and why I got into the stress piece is that the more the more dysregulated your digestion is and things like that, generally there's a lot of stress that comes along with that.
right.
And when you're in fight or flight, when you're in stress,
Yes.
when you are holding the weight of the world and trying to protect yourself,
Mhm.
the last thing your body's going to do is digest your food or regulate your hormones
Exactly.
or, make you
Absolutely. Yeah.
healthy,
It's going to
vibrant
go,
human.
no. It's going to just say no thanks.
And actually, very physically and chemically in the body pulls blood away from the digestive tract and puts it into your arms so you can run away from a tiger. Even
Yeah.
if you're just sitting at a computer doing emails, your body is still perceiving that as a threat. You
Yes.
think, oh, my coworker is terrible and he's trying to take my job. Well, that's a physical threat that your body is
Yep.
perceiving,
Yep.
whether or not it's mental. And so there's this distinction that we've made here between our brain and our body.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to help bring that back together for
That's good.
people
Well,
because it's
yeah,
all
because
good.
that is so super important because knowing what I know and what I do with red light therapy, I'm just gonna use that as an example. A lot of people come and says, well, I don't know what to do under the light. And I said, well, you got two heads. You got a gut and you got your head. Because the gut is our second brain. And
Mhm.
that and half the time they're like this far apart. And this is perfect because a lot of people don't know they work together. It's so important, and it's coming of age now that you can see the documentaries that this brain and this gut brain do work together. And that's
There's
where you come in to help people come together from
there's
top to mid.
40,000 neurons in your gut lining.
I know. Yes.
You want to talk like
Absolutely.
literally there is a brain in your stomach and your heart has a tiny brain.
Yes,
It
it
has a
does.
little,
It's yeah, it has. I was thinking when I was doing this research, I said, okay, where's all the mitochondria in our body? And it was in our heart and our gut and our head. And I was like, oh, makes sense. Makes sense. And that's what people, because people, I'm sorry, but people are looking for the quick fix. Oh my God,
Mhm.
it's my hormones. Give me something. Oh my God, it's this. But instead of digging deep, and that's where you come in, which is great. But look, hang on a minute, because I have more to tell you.
Oh,
Your
sorry.
intro. I got more, man. Here we get my glasses. I don't know where they are. Okay. Okay. So you help clients out of chronic stress and create an individualized and balanced health plan. As an integrative health coach working in the functional medicine practice, you've had firsthand experience and impact that stress on the health and stress on the health and how learning to turn that stress off can be freeing and health alluring. And that's that it's so important. But don't you think how much of our body, how much do you think every human carries stress percentage wise? Because it's crazy.
Well,
It's
and
nuts.
so much of what I teach is going back to like what your grandma or your great grandma taught, where it's like sit down, chew your food, like turn off the TV,
Yeah,
eat,
exactly. Turn off your
eat, eat
phone.
with another human being and have a conversation and
Yeah,
be in a relaxed setting.
yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to food, and just noticing when we are in those stress moments, we don't want to never have stress.
Yeah,
But when we're in those stress cycles, being able to also come back out of them
yes.
and let it
I
go
mean,
and let go of
yeah.
some of that worry. Um,
So where do you start? So let's just say, like I know if you take me as an example, I know in the morning I wake up because I work out really early in the morning. Not today, actually. I took the day off because I knew my body needed a day off. I listened to it. If I worked out, I think I would be so overpowering and stressful that oh my God, and thinking, oh my God, I didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. But every morning I get up and I'm like, oh my God, I woke up, I stood up. And I'm grateful because I think the mindset when you're clear, it's time is right as you get up. Is that
yeah.
where you start feeding that before the day starts running through your head? Do you think? What
Yeah.
do you think?
And one of my favorite activities to do at the beginning of the day, I believe that it was Esther Hicks who initially
That's great.
suggested this, but she has a thing where you break down your day into pieces
Mm-hmm.
and you imagine what's the best possible way that the day could go.
Yeah, exactly.
So I break down the day and I say I'm going to eat breakfast with my kids. We're going to have a good conversation before they go to school. I'm going to go drive to work and I'm going to be in traffic and I'm going to let everybody go in front of me and I'm going to listen to my meditation music and
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so
I'll fall
you
asleep though.
you break it down to whatever sections of the day,
Yeah,
6 or 8, not too
yeah.
many, and you think about what could go right. And what that does is that sets up your day for focusing on the things as they go right.
Mhm.
So just like if I was to go out and buy a green car and then all of a sudden you see green cars everywhere, you're like, man, I didn't realize there were so many green cars. Well, it's because your reticular activation system
Yeah.
is tuned into green
Green.
cars today. Well, we've
Right.
only got about 8 focuses that we
Yeah.
can have with that system.
Yeah.
And when you set the day up at the beginning of the day to focus on the things that you want to
Yeah.
create, that you want to bring in,
Absolutely.
then that is how you guide the day towards the good.
Right.
And if somebody spills coffee on you while you're walking into work, you're kind of like, I'm still walking into work and I'm doing the stairs like I thought I
With
was
a
gonna
big ass stain on your chest.
do.
Spilled. And that's that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, especially with our world so fast track world here. So if I came to you and said, okay, give me a plan, like I just give me a little plan that I have this much time, my brain is full, but how do I just change that one beautiful thing that I could actually see and have that greatest day ever? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You want me to give you like one thing for you?
Oh, I know, for everybody. Like I think everybody, I think when we go to bed with our day in our heads. A lot of people can't leave that day at the door and focus on what's in the house and in front of them. It's always, oh my God, what did I do? I have missed doing this. I did not forget to call this back. I forgot blah, blah, blah. So first of all, we're coming through the door. Then we go to bed. And I hear it a lot from women that are in menopause, like myself. Oh, I can't go to sleep. I'm like, why can't you go to sleep? Why? Oh, there's so much stuff running in my head. I said, well, shut it off. I'm really good at shutting that off, but a lot of people can't just go. So
Well,
how?
and that's natural for people not to want to shut off their brains
Oh,
because we've evolved with pretty big brains
uh-huh,
for mammals.
yeah.
And the reason that our brain evolved to be so big, well, one of the reasons is we have really finite ability to move. We can
Oh,
do really intricate things with our bodies. We can pick
right.
up things, we
Yeah,
can use tools.
yeah,
And another extension of our brain is our eyes. We visually process a lot.
yeah.
But when you're in an industrial society and you're sitting at a desk all day, you're not utilizing your eyes, you're not moving your body. And so what happens is you put a lot more pressure on the brain. And we think, oh, we just got to think all the time. That's what this brain is here for, right?
Right.
Well, people are forgetting really often that the movement and the visualizing and the quiet are also equally as important.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
that meditation piece, closing down the brain,
yeah,
and just allowing a little bit of quiet and grounding in the body,
yeah,
that takes a muscle that
yeah. It does.
people
Yeah.
often don't have, right?
Yeah. Before I was a cat, so like, oh my God, this noise. Oh my
Mhm,
God. But now
mhm.
I'm not saying that aging is a great thing for this. I think everyone should meditate from the get-go. But I found quietness, and my meditation isn't listening to anything. My meditation is getting outside and doing a meditative walk, eyes open, just thinking in my own thoughts and having a great time. So everybody's different when it comes to meditation. They have certain things that they can do where it's quiet time for brain, right? So
Single focus.
yeah,
Yes.
and focus elsewhere. But I was going to say today, I was actually, it's so funny that we're talking because I talked to another lady who does not what you do, but believes in meditation, believes in the mindset, and believes in, so I think that's where our world's going now. And that, isn't that exciting? Isn't that really exciting for you? Do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's just going back to where it was, right?
Where it was,
We
yes. How many years ago, though, do you think?
a
Like,
lot. Well, at least here in the US, I don't know about. But here in the US, we've been around for about 200 years. I think of us as teenagers. When you look
yeah,
at our medical system, when you look at our philosophies and things like that, we're kind of teenagers in the evolution of things. And
yeah,
it's like, oh, we're kind of getting out of that teenage phase and thinking,
yeah.
oh, maybe we should have a little more common sense and that the frontal lobe is developing. We're kind of
Oh,
as a
oh, yeah.
society, like, oh, maybe the elders were actually onto something with like
Mhm.
all of those ancient medicines and traditions and
Mhm.
things like
Yeah.
meditation. Like maybe there's something to that, right?
Mhm.
But for a long time, we've had to be right. And so
Oh,
there's this like, no, I'm right. My medical system will cure everything. I can cure cancer and I can just a pill and we can fix it all. And it's like, but can you?
yeah,
Sometimes some of
yeah,
our emergency medicine is amazing and I really love it. But as far as energetic medicine or mind medicine or body spirit medicine, we really have a long way to come, right?
oh, absolutely. But there's people like you, and I've talked to some people in different kinds of genders of the world. I mean, not genders, but different kind of occupations of the world believe that. So as you come forward and talk about it, you're reaching more people than you know because you have another lady who's doing some other kind of work, but still doing the mind, body, spirit journey with their clients. And that is super, super important right now because it changes. And I as a personal trainer, and I've been around the training business, health forever. graduated with a phys ed degree. Then I went through the personal training, gym management and stuff like that. But until I could experience myself, how we are so powerful within our own self to actually let our bodies heal without doing the reach, it's tapping in. Yes, of course, I believe in the medical system. Of course, I cannot. But we are so powerful as human beings that we've forgotten because it's been too easy to go to the doctor and get a little prescription.
Well, my son, for example, my son, when he was 3, was diagnosed with seizures. And he went from being a perfectly healthy baby to having 4 tonic-clonic seizures in a row in 2 days.
Oh
And he
gosh.
ended up with 3 different types of seizures. And on one of our EMU stays where they recorded his brain waves,
Yeah.
he had 100 different seizure spikes on his recording.
So it's
So
like, but
he was really dysregulated. His brain was
wow.
all over the place. And we went from that to failing some medicines to going through all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really helped me, um, my friend Tara wrote the book Making Cancer Fun, Tara
Yeah.
Garrity.
Yeah.
And she sent me a box of little syringes with toys
Yeah.
that Velcroed to the back. And
Yeah.
I thought, there is no way. Here I am, this stressed out mom. I'm trying to take all these medicines and supplements
Yeah.
and crush them up, put them in a syringe and feed them to a 3-year-old. And
Yeah.
he's like, Mom, this is terrible. What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Um, and so she sends me this box after about 6 months of fighting with all these medications and really not having a fun time with it. And she said, play with him,
Yeah.
make this fun, like
Mhm.
turn this into a game and give him some control over his body
Oh,
again.
yes.
And you will shift everything in his healing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is crazy. I don't think a little like plastic bath toy is going to make a difference on a medicine syringe, but I'm going to try anything because I'm a mom and I'm
Yeah.
desperate.
Yeah.
And you would not believe how much he took to this and played with it and ran with it.
Yes.
And ultimately, we were able to move him through his seizures, and now he's been seizure free for like several years. But I honestly and truly believe that a big piece of what happened was we shifted the energy that we were approaching it with.
Yes.
And instead of going at it with fear, it was like, no, we're going to fix this, and this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to play, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah. I think that's mindset shift, and little kids are so open to that.
Yes.
Like they don't have the barriers that we have now as getting older. And hopefully with your little one coming up, then he'll teach next time. I know a lot of the little kids that are with moms like yourself have these beautiful kids that are just so open to stuff like that. And that's play is such a great. I remember I was, well, you telling that story, like I'm a late bloomer to the spirit, mind, body thing. But I remember when I blew my knee the first time. I've had a knee replacement. I've had ACL done and anything. I was a runner, and I blew it dancing, like seriously doing the twist, and I went down. I'm like, oh God, I went down. Music was great. I went down, and then I remember the doctor saying we can't operate on you because your knee's the size of your head, and I have to see your knee. And I was like, I was so ego driven that they should fix that. Like, I was so ego driven that of course, and he just got bigger and I was on a cane and in a wheelchair and couldn't move. And I was so ego driven until somebody handed me a book and they said, read this book. And I said, it's How to Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And
Mhm,
I was just tapping into that growth of affirmations.
mhm,
And I thought it was bullshit. I
mhm,
seriously, I was like, really? I'm not gonna read that book. So I kind of put it on my side table. And I'm like, okay, they should fix my knee.
mhm,
I am a Donica Albert and they should fix my knee. And I'm a
mhm.
runner and I want to get out and run tomorrow. So they should really fix my. So I had that playing, that story playing, and that ego just took over. And as these little ones, they don't have ego. And that's why it's so beautiful to understand that all he wanted to do was play, change
Yeah.
the mindset. Don't be scary. It's fun. It's great. So I read Louise Hay
Mhm,
after a long 6 months of denying her. And I did it and I read it and then I started an affirmation for ego.
mhm.
And sure enough, 2 weeks later, I was up running again. And I went back to the doctor and he went, what the hell just happened? He couldn't believe it. So I know the
Well,
power of it. The power
when
is
you
amazing. It's amazing. And I'm so happy that your little boy, it's a boy, right? He's wonderful now because he played.
Yeah, he's gonna be a world leader, I tell you. He's 8 now, and he's just
He's gonna be the doctor. He's gonna do things. Like he's
he's
going to be out there.
he's
Like
a very outspoken, communal person, and it's really interesting to watch because he just like brings people with him wherever he
mom.
goes. He makes friends and he brings them into his world, and he knows how to do it because he went through something that was a little challenging, and he came out the other side stronger. And so
But I
like he
bet when you
how to
saw
wear it.
that change in him, you were just like, did it change you too? I just want to know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah.
then you did this journey. A part of your journey is because of him, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been interested in
Yeah.
holistic health. It's been
Yeah.
something that's been in my background for
Right.
many, many years, and we were already going to a holistic health doctor. Um, but when you see it in action, when you see it really truly, like here we are with a really visible diagnosis, and when you start to learn how little they know in the
Yeah.
doctor's office, I mean, with neurology and with epilepsy, they know nothing. They really don't understand the brain that well yet. And I
No.
mean, we know a lot, but we're so just on the cliff of like knowing so much more, right?
Oh gosh, it's unbelievable what I learned. The studies I've read because of what I do on besides podcasting with red light therapy, it just it blows my mind.
They
It
say
blows my mind that we're like if we just tap in, seriously, tap in, people. That's all I want, just tap into yourself. There's no
with something like epilepsy, they have, I think it's 2/3 of people with epilepsy have they call it idiopathic epilepsy, which means
yeah.
we don't have a freaking clue what's wrong with you. We have no idea where this came from, what's happening, or why it's going on.
This FYI, autoimmune diseases are like that too.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we work on in the clinic with the functional
Uh,
medicine
yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Because when you're dealing with gut health, when you're dealing with hormones, when you're dealing with inflammation, all of those things are kind of in that same realm of this is sort of a long term, it's not an acute, I
Mhm.
broke my knee kind of
Yeah.
fix that's
Yeah.
easy for Western medicine to deal
Yeah.
with. And
Yes.
so people who have longer term disease, more
Yeah.
autoimmune stuff,
Yeah.
they end up coming to people like us because the Western doctors are
I don't
like,
know what to do.
I don't know what's wrong with you. You're
Yeah.
fine. Your blood
I
work
by
looks
the way,
good.
you're not immune. Just say that. Like, and that's what they do. They just make a quick fix.
Hmm.
Quick title to it. Because I remember when I do all my research for body mind soul, I remember following a human biologist, and his job was to go into big companies and do the insurance forms for the companies of their employees. And he said I was predicting people's lives. That's what he was. So he got out of that, and he now studies the human biology like you do, where he believes that we can actually do this ourselves. We can transform if we start up here, here, instead of
Well,
what ifs. What if I
and
didn't take my blood pressure pill? What if, what if, what if? And it's a
well,
negative.
and there's a fine line. I think that we should balance our emergency
Absolutely.
medicine, our Western medicine,
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
our energy medicine. But you can support anything that you're doing with energy medicine, and it will make it easier. It will make your journey better. Like there is no reason not to be grounding and meditating, right?
Oh,
And that sounds
absolutely.
so hippy dippy wooey, right? To
Yeah.
people
Oh,
who
yeah,
aren't
it's
used to
cuckoo.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But from what I have seen in our clinic, it's an absolute necessary piece if you
Yeah.
are struggling with pain, if you are
Yeah.
struggling with inflammation, if you're
Yes.
struggling with hormones or gut health.
Yeah.
All of those things really require mindfulness, spirituality, stress reduction,
Right.
connection.
And right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think the number one connection is with yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful thing what you do because you just sorry, you have this calming voice that if you did a meditation, I'd be asleep right now. I'd be
I have
listening to
one.
you. Oh,
I
you
have one.
do? Okay, we're
So
gonna
on my landing page,
I know,
it
but
plays right on the front. You
okay,
don't
well
even
you gave me just the Facebook page. I don't know. Give me everything. You'll get everything will be posted with this podcast. But the neat thing about what you talk about is that everyone's talking about it. It's the
yes.
doing. Right?
Hmm.
We're like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I believe it. But I have a lot of people, and I'm one of them, like meditation to sit down for me, I have a max. But to walk meditation, I can walk 15K and just have a podcast on, just clear my mind. So I think when you think about getting back into the body and really sitting within your body, you got to find something that works for you. So you
Well,
can,
and you can like I love walks.
yeah, me
And
too.
so if I were you, I would listen to a meditation while I went on my walk.
I would probably walk right into a tree because
Okay,
I,
don't do that then.
well,
That's a terrible idea.
I'm serious because I can zone out. So yes, I'm going to tell everyone a story out there just because it's part of this, but it's part of me, and you might appreciate this because my girlfriend and I went to something called Boudica. And it's we have a big IMAX here in Edmonton, and it's do you know the Pretenders group? That's way back in 1910. You know, so James Hood is part of the Pretenders. So he did this thing called Boudica. You get on a chair and you lie back, and it's music, and it's about. He says a couple words about kindness and love, and all these beautiful lights and pictures would come and they're surrounding you. Of course, this is how easy it is for me to get like meditate or even get hypnotized. I kind of fell asleep every once in a while and woke myself up going, oh, oh.
Well,
But what I found is that for me, that part of that was a meditation where it kind of opened my brain and I left there with a lightness. It was so cool that, so when you say listen to a meditation while I walk, seriously, I'll walk into a tree.
the meditation teacher I'm following right now would call that sleepitation. And he's like, you're even doing better if you're sleeping through it because you're absorbing it in a different way. Like,
But I
don't,
didn't want to miss the lights because I paid a lot of money for it.
right, right.
So if I go a second time, then I'll fall asleep. But seriously, I was like, we both of us walked away. My girlfriend that I was with, she's very spiritual. She's like my cheerleader. She's got me met. Like she's really a beautiful soul. And both of us looked at each other and went, "Oh my God, it's a good thing I didn't do an edible."
Hmm.
Because it was so hypnotic, like you said, hypnotic, but beautiful. But I think people are afraid of it. Close your eyes. You don't have to concentrate. Leave your shit at the door and follow someone's voice, or don't just sit there silent.
Well, and I like to remind people who are nervous about starting meditation that it's actually not about just clearing your mind and having no thoughts.
I
Like
have,
you will sometimes have thoughts and that's totally fine. It's about
absolutely.
learning how to let go of those thoughts, how
Oh,
to
okay,
imagine
yeah,
them
yeah.
floating away on a boat,
Sorry, I
or
said the wrong thing. That's exactly what it is. Let go of those thoughts.
it's you notice them and you have amusement and you
Yeah,
smile
yeah,
and you're like, those are my thoughts, and you don't hang on to them because what happens with the overthinking and the stress is that we have these thoughts and then it's like, well, I know that I've got to figure this out and it's all so important and we're so clinched down on these
yeah.
thoughts that it's like, no, we got to learn how to just be amused. Like, I'm thinking a lot right now. Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smile,
And I
let it
give
go.
and give yourself permission.
Hmm.
Give yourself permission because we don't do that often enough. And I learned that a lot through a lot of myself. It's like, oh yeah, I'll give my permission. Oh yeah, I just had a really weird day, but I'm okay with that. I give my permission to have that really bad day because that way it releases that for me. I'm not saying for everybody, but for me, it does release that. He's giving myself permission to sit down and listen to a meditation because a lot of people can't. You know what I mean? So it's like
Well,
giving the kid permission to go outside and play and giving my permission to take some time.
and
And do
being
you teach that
curious.
too?
Like, why am I thinking so hard about this?
Yes. Why? Yeah.
Why? Why is it like, is it really true that I need to be this stressed
Yeah.
about this? Or
Yeah.
can I let this go a
Exactly.
little bit?
Exactly.
My favorite example of this when I was
Oh,
really
good. Another
super,
story.
yes, I love stories.
Love
When
stories.
I was really stressed, my
Yeah.
boss and I would sit in the office and yell at our printers. We have like three printers and they would all like steal printing jobs from
Yeah.
each other and it'd never go to the right one.
Yeah.
Or it wouldn't take it, or it would take 20 minutes to go to the printer and it would just be like so frustrating. So we'd have this like
Yeah.
habit of just yelling at the computer, ah, stupid computer, ah, stupid printer. Why are you doing that? I can't believe this printer. Why in the world would it take that page? It doesn't make any sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And finally, I was like, when I started working with this idea of having more ease in my life and
Yeah.
just bringing, like, maybe
Yeah.
this could be easy, I thought, well, how could I make this more easy? Right. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, thank you, printer, for having me get up from my desk. And I'm going to walk over and I'm going to say thank you because now I get to
Yeah.
stretch my legs.
Yeah.
I get a
Yeah.
break from my emails
Get to
and I'm
move.
going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the difference was unbelievable. My productivity went through the roof because I wasn't so wound up and spending all my energy
About the
yelling at the
printer.
printer.
Yeah. like your paper clips.
Yes, same thing.
Same thing. It's kind of fun that because actually when I do that, because I do talk to myself. I don't know about you. I always talk to myself. I'm always one of those, Donica, what really is it really the fridge's fault that fell out of it? Why are you yelling? Like I find it a comedy act, but laughter is so good for us and our hormones release and you just feel just free from laughter. But I find myself catching myself saying the same thing you did to the printer. Okay, you're not working today. You know what, computer? I'm going to give you a rest.
Mhm.
I'm going to go and turn you off and give you a rest, knowing that it's benefiting me to walk out the door, my eyes, get a drink of water or a beer or whatever. But that's the key is walking and just saying thank you for showing up today. But today's the day maybe I need to. I'm gonna leave you alone today. And I always have names for things like like my computer has a name. Like
That's awesome.
I think that's a great concept for people that get so frustrated. And do you do that driving? Because I do that driving sometimes.
I have really become good on my drives because I always listen to something calming, so that
Oh, I love
helps.
them. I
I
like
like to
singing.
listen to lectures,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like I'll find something to occupy my mind so I'm not so worried about.
There's
It's
the
like, yes,
traffic.
I want to drive and be a
Yeah.
safe driver, but
Oh.
also like that guy, I hope that that guy gets there on time. Like he's very,
Oh, look,
very
he's at the
irritating.
light. I'm gonna wave to him. Have a good day.
Somebody once gave the suggestion to do a thumbs up anytime somebody was
I give a
driving you
5-finger
crazy.
wave.
Yeah.
That's like someone said that to me. I'm like, that's brilliant. And they're like, so they're yelling at me and they're like, I'm like, oh, okay. And she's waving. Like, I'm like, what? What's the point? Now, I gotta say, we're all human. We all make mistakes. And sometimes I am an angry driver, I'll admit.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm an angry. I think it's norm. It's norm that we are human and we do make mistakes.
But
But
I've also accidentally cut someone off before, and I didn't do it to spite them. I wasn't like Joe in that car over there. I'm gonna make him mad by cutting him off because I'm not paying attention. Like
yeah, exactly.
it was like, oops, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. And if we can just assume that most people are in that state and they're not intentionally like
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
attack us because nobody cares that much about us.
No.
And that's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's like whoever's in that car over there doesn't even know who I am. Why would they
Oh,
be
yeah,
intentionally
exactly. You're
trying to
just
cut
another
me off?
human driving a car. Basically. And I love that analogy because seriously, that'll help me because I live in a city where there's lots of traffic. So I try not to go out because I know my limits. But it's kind of fun that you say that because there's days where I'm like, oh my God. And I just crack myself up laughing. So I crank on the music and I sing and it's just you're not going to get there any faster and you'll be safer. But that's because as we round this up, you're taking a mindset of a lot of people to help with a lot of things that we need here. And then they can go out in the world, right? A better person. I love it. I love it. I think I'm excited to listen to. I'm not going to listen to your meditation when I walk,
Okay,
just so you know.
that's
But I
cool.
will do it when I'm by myself. I love being in that space where you can just listen. Just listen.
You'll love it because my friend did this really beautiful visual to go with it. So I wanted to incorporate this visual
Yeah.
element. And
Yes.
he's just such a beautiful artist, but it's just the fog rolling in over the mountains. And if you want to
Oh,
watch with eyes open, it's just a beautiful one to do that way.
well, I can't wait to hear your voice because I have this feeling that I'll be sleeping by the time it's done. Because that's what I like yesterday when I was at Utica, I was like, oh my gosh, I slept. That's like, wow. So you have to be very open. And I truly love that you do what you do. Because the more people that we have out there like yourself, it's baby steps. It's one person at a time that's going to change another person. And I love that. Straight from the heart. You're an
Oh,
amazing woman. Yeah, absolutely incredible woman. And especially with the paper clips, I think that's a great analogy. And the printer. I've learned a lot actually on this call. So everybody, if you're out there listening to us, we're going to put your meditation with your bio and all that great stuff. And if you need something, if you need to be reconnected with your body, this is a girl. This is the girl to do it with, and you can get a hold of her. And where do you live?
I'm in Colorado, so I'm in the beautiful Rocky
Colorado.
Mountains.
You're right
Yeah.
below us.
Yeah.
Kind of, eh?
Mhm.
Is it snowing there yet?
No, it's still hot as heck.
I know. We had snow in Ontario up north, like
Oh,
last
wow.
weekend, but it was like big flakes, the ones that they just hit and melt. So yeah, I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God, not yet. I'm not ready.
No,
I'm
no.
totally not ready. And this is off the cuff, everybody. I love the memes that come out about the pumpkin spice and everybody saying, put your pumpkin spice back in your pocket. I just love that because we're like, whoa, not yet. It's not October, but yeah, it's great. This has been wonderful. This has been why I love talking to you, and we've met for a reason. We've had a couple cancellations, and then all of a sudden you're early, and I hadn't finished my lunch, but it worked out perfectly. So
Oh,
everybody, if you want to get connected with Jess, all her information will be below in the intro.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been
I
fun conversation.
appreciate you changing my a little bit. I've taken a little bit away, and that's kind of good. That's great because this is what this is all about. Let's resonate with something. If you could take something away and put it in your life, it's fantastic. So everybody wake up in the morning and thank someone, your source, that you actually woke up, right? So
Mm.
you take care. Have a wonderful Friday 13th and a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.